Stop scrolling. You weren't supposed to miss this. Archangel Michael says this message isn't just a warning. It's a divine intervention. This is not a moment of coincidence. This is God Himself speaking directly to your spirit through the voice of an angel. And what's being delivered to you now carries more weight than you may realize. You've been feeling it, haven't you? The strange stillness in the middle of your day, the sudden heaviness that appears out of nowhere, the dreams that seem too vivid to ignore. These are not random. These are not ordinary. These are divine breadcrumbs trying to pull you back into alignment. God is speaking, and this time He's not whispering. There is something urgent unfolding in the spirit, a shift that heaven has been orchestrating behind the scenes. And while the world is moving faster, noisier, louder, your soul has been quietly preparing for this moment. The reason you feel different lately? The reason your energy is off and your heart feels like it's waiting for something unknown? It's because your spirit already sensed that a message from God was coming. And now, here it is. Archangel Michael has stood in the presence of the Most High. He does not speak lightly. When he carries a message, it carries the authority of the divine. And right now, that message is this. Heaven has been watching you closely. Every tear, every prayer you whispered through clenched teeth, every moment you thought no one saw, God saw it all. And He remembers. This message isn't about punishment. It's not about fear. It's about restoration, about calling you back to what was always yours. A sacred protection, a spiritual identity, and a divine assignment. You've been wandering through pain, through loss, through confusion, not knowing that all along, heaven had marked your name. You are not just seen, you are chosen. You may not have felt worthy lately. You may have questioned whether you're still on the right path, or if your prayers are even being heard anymore. But hear this clearly. God never left your side. He has been silent, yes, but not absent. And now, through the voice of Archangel Michael, He is breaking that silence. You are standing at a spiritual crossroads. One path will take you back into old cycles, fear, regret, heaviness, shame. But the other path is being cleared now, not by your effort, but by divine command. The blocks are being removed. The curses are being broken. The confusion is lifting. Because heaven has decided, it is time. You are being pulled out of what you thought you deserved and into what was always meant for you. This is not about perfection. This is not about religion. This is about relationship, a divine relationship that has been calling your name since before you were even born. Archangel Michael is here now as both a witness and a warrior, guiding your steps back to your sacred self. And the reason this moment feels intense, even emotional, even overwhelming, is because your soul is finally recognizing the sound of home. You may feel something rising in your chest as you hear this, a stirring, a pressure, or even tears. Don't push it away. That's not emotion for the sake of emotion. That's your spirit responding to truth. You've spent so long surviving, adapting, carrying weight that wasn't yours, hiding your light to make others comfortable. But now heaven is saying, enough. This message from God Himself is your spiritual release form, a divine letter of freedom. Archangel Michael is delivering what has already been signed in heaven, a declaration over your name that says, no more bondage, no more shame, no more forgetting who you are. You see, the pain wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The delays weren't denials, they were divine timing at work, making sure your spirit was strong enough to handle what's coming next. And what's coming is not just breakthrough, it's clarity. A wave of spiritual clarity that will begin to make everything make sense. All the heartbreak, all the confusion, all the waiting. You weren't being forgotten, you were being positioned, and now the fog is lifting. One by one, the things that once confused you will begin to reveal their purpose. Relationships that drained you will fall away with ease. Doors that once slammed in your face will suddenly open, not because you changed your energy, but because heaven changed your access. Archangel Michael has gone before you and cleared paths you didn't even know were blocked. You are being returned to your original divine alignment, back to the version of yourself that existed before life dimmed your light, the version of you that knew you were made for more, the version that didn't doubt your worth, that didn't apologize for your sensitivity, that didn't carry shame for simply existing. Heaven is doing something deep inside of you right now. You might feel tired. You might feel sensitive. You might even feel emotionally raw after this. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to stay present. Because that's how divine healing works. It doesn't just remove what's hurting. It rebuilds what's been missing. You are not weak for needing this message. You are not broken for crying through it. You are not behind for finding it now. You are right on time. Archangel Michael says this message wasn't just meant for you. It was made for you. And the proof is in how your soul is responding to it. The way your chest feels lighter. The way your eyes suddenly see clearer. The way your entire body is remembering. I am loved. I am chosen. I am safe. This is divine timing. So now, beloved soul, pause for a moment. Feel the air around you. It's different now. Calmer. More still. Not because the world outside changed, but because the world within you has. Something sacred has been activated. And Archangel Michael wants you to notice it. You may not see wings, you may not hear trumpets, but make no mistake, this is holy ground. The space you're sitting in has become a sanctuary. Why? Because when a message is delivered straight from God Himself, it doesn't just pass through your ears, it enters your life. And you begin to live differently because of it. Not out of fear, not out of religion, but because your soul is waking up again. That fog of heaviness you've been walking through, it's lifting now. Those patterns you couldn't break, they're losing their grip. That voice that kept telling you, you're too late, too broken, too far gone, has just been silenced by the voice of heaven. And what is that voice saying? You are mine. You are whole. You are called. And I am not finished with you yet. Archangel Michael isn't here to entertain you. He's here on assignment. To remind you that heaven didn't give up on you, even when you gave up on yourself. This is not a joke. This is not symbolic. This is a real spiritual summons. And something is now being rewritten in the spirit, with your name on it. Stay present. Stay open. Because what happens next in your life will confirm everything this message has spoken. And now the silence between your thoughts feels different. It's not empty anymore. It's filled with presence, a divine awareness that something beyond your understanding is unfolding in your favor, not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because God's love for you was never based on your performance. It was always rooted in your essence, in your soul, in your light, in the way your heart still hopes, even after all it's been through. Archangel Michael is standing watch over you, not with a sword of fear, but with a sword of truth. And that truth is cutting away everything that was never meant to follow you into this next chapter. The guilt, the shame, the comparison, the invisible weight you've been carrying, it's being severed in the spirit right now. You are not being punished. You are being cleansed, not with water, but with divine light. That heaviness in your chest, that's where your healing begins, right there, in the places no one else saw, but heaven always did. Your journey hasn't been easy. You've had to carry things people never noticed. You've been strong in ways you never got credit for. You've survived storms that would have broken others. But now, God is saying, you don't have to carry it anymore. This message wasn't just to wake you up, it was to set you free. You're not just being guided, you're being guarded. You're not just hearing words, you're hearing a call to return to your divine identity, to step back into alignment, to walk, not in fear, but in authority. The kind of authority that only comes from knowing who you are and whose you are. And when heaven sends a message like this, it's not for entertainment. It's for activation. You've been activated. So now, beloved soul, everything ahead of you starts to look different. Not because your circumstances have shifted yet, but because you have. Something inside you has remembered what the world made you forget. You are not here by accident. You were placed here with divine precision, wrapped in purpose, surrounded by unseen help, and called by name. Archangel Michael didn't deliver this message because you were weak. He delivered it because you're ready. Ready to release what no longer belongs in your story. Ready to forgive what your heart has carried too long. Ready to receive what heaven has been holding until this moment. You might not feel fully healed yet. That's okay. You might still have questions. That's holy too. But even now, as the words settle into your spirit, you already know something has changed. Not just emotionally, energetically, spiritually, eternally. God doesn't send warnings like this for drama. He sends them as divine recalibrations, moments that stop you in your tracks, grab your soul by the shoulders and say, "This is not where your story ends." There is more waiting for you. Peace that will make sense of your past, clarity that will silence the confusion, provision that will follow your obedience, and love, the kind that reminds you, you were never forgotten. You've walked through seasons of silence, thinking maybe God changed his mind about you, but he didn't. He was protecting the timing, not denying your destiny. And now, through Archangel Michael, he's showing you the evidence. Every tear counted. Every prayer mattered. Every silent scream in the night echoed in heaven. And now, heaven responds. And so, as you sit in this moment, heart open, spirit awakened, know this truth deep within your soul. You were never alone in the silence. What felt like abandonment was really alignment. What felt like delay was divine protection. And what felt like the end was simply the pause before your breakthrough. Archangel Michael didn't come to fix you. He came to remind you of the wholeness that's always lived within you. The wholeness that trauma tried to bury. The light that shame tried to dim. The calling that fear tried to cancel. But here you are. Still standing. Still breathing. Still listening. And that's proof that your story is still being written, not by fate, not by fear, but by the very hands of God himself. From this point on, everything begins to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you finally received it. You received the truth, the realignment, the spiritual message that heaven has been waiting to pour into your heart. And you'll start to see the signs now, more clearly than ever before. Synchronicities that confirm you're on the right path. People who speak what your spirit already knows. Moments that feel too precise to be random, because they're not. You've stepped into divine alignment. And from here, nothing can remain the same. When you walk into tomorrow, you'll carry today's light with you. The words may fade, but the shift inside your soul is permanent. You've been changed. You've been marked. You've been reminded of who walks with you. And that alone changes everything. And as this divine message settles deeper into your spirit, you may feel an unexplainable calm. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because you've remembered who you are in the eyes of heaven. This is what true spiritual awakening feels like. It's not always loud. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, like the soft closing of a door that no longer leads anywhere. Sometimes it's still, like the moment before sunrise when the world hasn't yet noticed the light is returning. But inside of you, everything is shifting. The fear that used to control your decisions, it's losing its grip. The voices that once made you doubt yourself, they're going silent. The heaviness that clung to your chest for so long, it's dissolving because it was never yours to carry. You've walked through too much to pretend you're ordinary. You've survived too much to believe you're forgotten. And now heaven is saying, you are the evidence of divine mercy. You weren't left behind. You weren't overlooked. You were being held, prepared, preserved. And now that the message has reached you, not just your ears, but your soul, a new chapter is beginning. One not written in fear or uncertainty, but in clarity and truth. Archangel Michael isn't just delivering a message today. He's activating your memory, the deep spiritual memory that knows you are not broken. You are becoming. And no matter who tries to question your worth, no matter what storms try to return, no matter how long the road ahead feels, you now carry the authority of someone who has heard directly from heaven. And once you've heard from God, nothing else sounds louder. So now you walk forward not with uncertainty, but with quiet authority. Because even if no one else knows what happened inside of you today, you know. You know something shifted, something lifted, something sacred was spoken that your soul had been waiting to hear for far too long. And from this moment forward, you will begin to notice the change in your energy. Not because you're trying to be different, but because the truth has finally settled into your spirit. You'll speak differently. You'll respond with more peace. You'll sense things before they happen. You'll protect your space more carefully, not from fear, but from reverence for what God is building inside of you. You may feel called to let go of things, people, places, habits. That's not loss. That's alignment. When heaven speaks, it clears space. It purifies. It strips away everything that was dimming your light. And what's left is something purer, softer, stronger than you've ever carried before. You'll walk into rooms with a stillness that unsettles the noise. You'll face what used to break you, and now you'll barely flinch. Because your soul knows, God spoke over me. No demon, no doubt, no delay can undo what's been marked in the spirit. You may still face storms, but this time, you'll remember. You are not weathered by the wind. You are anchored in the divine. You'll no longer panic when the path gets quiet. Because now, you know that some of the loudest moves of God happen in silence. And if ever you start to forget, come back to this moment. Not just to the words, but to the feeling. The feeling that told you, you are not alone. You are not forsaken. And this is just the beginning. And here's the most sacred truth of all. This message found you because God made sure it would. No algorithm, no coincidence, no accident. It was divine timing, perfectly orchestrated, quietly delivered, and now fully received by your soul. You didn't miss your calling. You didn't delay your destiny. You didn't disqualify yourself. That guilt, released. That regret, redeemed. That confusion, being cleared even now. You are standing at a new threshold. And from this point on, you carry something the world can't take. Not because of who you are in the world, but because of who you are in the spirit. Archangel Michael was sent not just to comfort you, but to realign you, to remind you of your spiritual authority, to silence the lies that tried to bury your truth, to whisper what your soul has been craving all along. You are still in God's plan, even when you feel unqualified, even when you don't feel strong, even when your faith is trembling. Heaven has still chosen you, and this message, it's not something to just remember, it's something to live by. Let every step you take from this day forward echo the truth that's been spoken here. Walk in peace, walk in purpose, walk like someone who has been touched by a divine encounter. Because that's exactly what this was. And even now, as this message nears its end, something deep within you has already begun. A sacred rewriting of your inner story. Where there was confusion, there is now clarity. Where there was fear, there is peace. Where there was spiritual silence, there is now a steady, holy voice saying, "You are mine. I never left." That truth will follow you. Not just today, but in the days to come, when you're tired, when the world distracts you, when doubt creeps in. And in those moments, You'll remember what you heard here, what you felt here. This was not a video. This was a visitation. This was God, through Archangel Michael, reaching through the noise of your life to anchor you back into his love. And now, it's yours to carry, to live by, to rise with. Because once you've heard from heaven, you can't go back to pretending you didn't. So walk forward, not in fear, not in shame, but in the quiet power of someone who knows. God himself just spoke to me.